Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to discuss about the basic concepts of Java programming. As we already know, Java programming is one of the programming language which is used in web app development and standalone application development and mobile application development. So let us discuss the basic concepts of Java programming. The first concept is Java Virtual Machine. This JVM is a computing machine which enables the write once and run anywhere capability of platform independent. This is nothing but if we write any Java program in a machine that can be compiled, and after that it will generate a dark class file. We can copy that file and we can paste it in some other system. In that system directly we can execute that file without the source file. So that's why Java is called as platform independent programming language. Let us see the role of JVM in Java execution. The first process is compilation. The source file of Java is compiled with the help of Javac compiler that will be converted into bytecode, that is dark class file. Then after that, JVM loads these class file into JVM. And then finally, execution. This bytecode is executed and finally the output will be generated. In memory management, the garbage collection is automatically managed by JVM machine. There are there are different components are there in JVM. One is class loader, which is nothing but it loads all the class files in Java program. And then runtime data area, which is nothing but a memory management place to manage the data stored during the runtime. And then execution engine, which just interprets and then compiles the bytecode. And Java native interface, which is nothing but which connects the C and C++ library files. And native method libraries, which just utilizes the native methods. And class loader subsystem, in this, in the loading phase, it just reads the class file from the file system, and then the linking phase. In this linking phase, the verification, preparation, and resolution steps will be carried out. And then the initialization phase, it just assigns the values to the static variables and executes the static initialization block. And then there are different types of class loaders are there. Bootstrap class loader, it just loads the jar files. And the extension class loader, which is an extension library from jar lib and exe file. And then application class loader, it just loads user defined classes from class path. And then next discuss about the JVM memory area. There will be a separate memory space for storing all the methods defined in Java, and also heap memory, which is used to store the Java objects, and then stack memory, which just stores the called methods, local variables, and all these things, and program counter, which is used to store the address of the next instruction to be executed. And the native method stack, which just manages the native methods written in the languages like C and C++. Next one is execution engine. Here we have interpreter, JIT compiler, and garbage collector, which is the heart of the JVM. Interpreter reads and executes bytecodes, and JIT compiler, it just compiles frequently executed bytecodes. And then garbage collector, it just automatically frees up the memory which was already occupied by the previous Java program. And Java native interface, which is nothing but if we have any predefined library files which is in C and C++, that can be linked here for Java programs. So JVM is first, see, whenever we write code, we write a Java code, the first step we have to do is save the file with the extension .java. And then we have to do the compilation process with the help of Java C compiler that will generate the dot class file. Then after that, this class loading phase, it just loads this particular class into the class loading concept, class loading module, and then the bytecode verification just verifies this class file and it executes, and it because of the memory management, finally the output will be displayed. Thank you. Now I'm going to discuss about variables in Java and the scope of variables and lifetime of variables. Let us discuss. The scope is nothing but region of program where a variable can be accessed, and lifetime is nothing but how long a variable exists in a memory during the time of execution. Let us discuss all these concepts with an example. Here I have defined one class box, and inside the box class I have declared three different variables: width, height, depth. These three are instance variables, variables declared inside the class. Variables declared inside the class are called instance variables. So these three, width, height, and depth, are called instance variables. Next, I have defined one constructor box and followed by three arguments to assign values to the variables width, height, and depth. Then I closed the constructor, and finally I am closing the class also. And outside the class, I have defined one function called volume. Inside this function, I am simply calculating, that is, I am trying to access the variables which are declared inside the class, that is width, height, and depth. This particular line will generate an error because only the scope of these three variables are only within the class, not outside the class. So this line will generate an error. If suppose I defined this volume function inside the class, means that will not generate any kind of error. Next, shall we discuss the variable static variables. Here, I have defined one class use static. Inside this, I have defined two static variables, A and B. The difference between instance variable and static variable is the instance variables that we have seen in the previous slide, width, height, and depth. These variables are whenever we create any kind of objects for this class box, it will create separate copy for each object. But here, the static variables, only single copy of memory will be allocated for this static variable. And then here, inside the static block, I'm just calculating the B value. And I'm closing the class. And finally, in the main, I'm creating one main class called sample. And inside main, I have created two objects, US1 and US2. Even though we created two different objects, only a common memory for A and B will be accessed by both the objects. Next, I'm printing the value of A as well as B. Since A and B both are static variables, we have to use only class name for accessing A as well as B. So use static.a. It just prints the value of A, 3. And use static.b. It just prints the value of B, 12. Thank you.